Hello world, if I asked you what is your favorite game, what would you say? Is it the game that has the best memories? Or maybe the game you spend an ungodly amount of hours playing? Maybe it's a game where you met some long-time friends on. For me, it's the game that I gave up on twice. It's a game that looks so good, the original console it was developed for couldn't even run it smoothly. And it's the game where every time I play it, I learn something new. Of course you know the game I'm talking about because it's Man, where do I start? The music, the gameplay, cutscenes, the iconic warehouse scream? No, I'm gonna start where I started, which means we don't have to talk about Sonic Unleashed, but Sonic Unleashed. Now I know I make it seem like this game is bad by playing the E-Rank Nuke because it's not that bad unless they're actually playing it on the Wii. I say this because this port is also on the PS2, but I had it for the Wii, and since it was on the Wii, you know what that means? Motion controls! Now I know some people will say, oh, but Panda Man, if you play with a Wii or a GameCube controller, there is no motion controls. I know. But I didn't have that. So instead, in order to boost, when we attack, grab, throw, climb, swing, punch, and more, I had to shake the damn Wii remote, which for me at the time was very hard and not fun. I did try to learn how the controls work through YouTube, but there was a problem. My game looked different, worked different, was different, which is where I learned about Sonic Unleashed. Thought I was gonna do the bit again, did you? But that's where Sonic Unleashed ends for me because I don't remember much after the starting levels, and at some point my Wii died and we got rid of the game. There was one thing that always captivated me about the game, and that was the If you've even watched a small amount of gaming videos on YouTube, you have heard this game's soundtrack before. And that was the issue. It was like, I love this game's soundtrack, even though I knew a very small amount of it from Sonic Unleashed. But I was like, I want to hear more of it. But I didn't have the game, so I was like, oh man, I really wish I had the HD version of the game, because maybe that game I would actually like more from a gameplay perspective, so I wouldn't have motion controls. But the issue was like, I didn't have it. So every single time I heard Cool Edge or Rooftop Run, and especially Windmill Isle, the game I had dropped is just like, you can't play this game anymore, because remember, you stopped playing it because you didn't have fun. But I was like, I want to play, I want to hear more music, I want to just I really wish I just had a second chance. And one fateful day, I finally did. At a local video game store, I'd seen it, and after convincing my mom that, this isn't the same game she had already purchased before, I could finally boot up. I was back in bed in there, at least for the night levels. Daytime still gave me some trouble. I wasn't very good at Sonic games, to be honest. Though, to be fair, this was like the second Sonic game I had played. The other one was Rush, for anyone wondering. In both of the games, I did have the similar problem, which was just spamming the boost whenever I could, which 90% of the time would just lead me dying or zipping right past the faster route, leading to a slower one, which would lead every single day stage ending with a rank of C, D, or E, which didn't feel very good as being someone at the time and still now who likes to 100% games. Okay, so daytime wasn't good. What about the night stages? I know this joke is horrible, but it was literally night and day. I'm finding collectible beating up bad guys without having to play Wii boxing, and not only getting A ranks, but S ranks too. But how? Well, firstly, I was dying a whole lot less, which means my score wasn't getting set to 0. And secondly, I spammed the ever-living crap out of the QTEs, which were a lot more points for very little effort. I also love seeing how fast I could cut down on my time by skipping encounters, which you shouldn't do if this is your first time playing, because you need the XP for enemies for late game. But skipping fights isn't the only way to go fast. Using momentum off poles and special ledges helps a lot. But my favorite way to go around fast is using aerial claw slash. I love this move. Firstly, you get it early in the game. Secondly, it can act like a third jump with amazing horizontal distance. And finally, I love it how all of this is balanced out by the fact that you're not able to grab ledges after using the move. Meaning you can't just spam the move and you have to actually make sure you can make whatever jump you're going for. And this is mainly how the game went for me. Struggle through the day stages and fall in love with the night ones. That was until this level broke me. Starting off with fire wizards, which can't be punched unless you want to be a ball of fire, and for some reason I just had a really hard time hitting them with the water barrels. The second reason was the game repeatedly deciding to crash for some reason. I'm not even sure to this day. Finally, it was due to this damned door, which needs 4 gems to open. The blue one is found in the combat area just before the door, but I couldn't find the other 3. I thought maybe they're up these stairs, which leads to another encounter. After said encounter, I hoped that this door would open and they'd just be inside. The issue with that was, I just couldn't get past the encounter, and I was no longer really having fun with the game. I mean, I already didn't have fun with the day stages, so you know what? Sonic Unleashed died for the second time. Okay, I know quitting game over one level is stupid, but I was young, impatient, and stupid. But I still really liked the game. Like, it always looked so cool whenever I watched videos on the game. People being able to nail the shortcuts on the day stages, and I just still really liked the nighttime stages. I knew the game could be good, but I really just needed another motivator to get me right back in it again. And that motivator would come from a weird source where nobody saw it coming. I'm talking about the lockdown of 2020. Just like everybody else during lockdown, I was trapped inside and had a lot of free time on my hands and had some spending money for my Xbox One, which I decided to buy a digital copy of Sonic Unleashed. And it was time for round 3. I had one goal: beat the game no matter what. I didn't care about the optional collectibles, what rank I got. I just wanted to make it to the end of the game. And I think this mentality really helped. Or the fact that it had been a handful of years and I just had gotten better. But even on some of the day levels, I was getting A ranks without even really trying or looking stuff up. Even Arid Sands didn't give me a lot of trouble, mainly because the gems actually spawned in this time. Yeah, for some reason there's a bug in the level where nothing past this barrier will spawn in. I think this happens if you get too close to it during the encounter, but even for this recording, I couldn't get the glitch to happen again. That clip earlier was just made by me moving the gens. But with Arid Sands done, there was one troublesome level left. Eggman Land is believed to be the hardest level, not just in this game, but possibly all of 3D Sonic games. And it makes sense. Death pits everywhere, a really tight camera on some of those 2D sections, and some of the most punishing slow paths and hard to reach fast paths. Also, did I forget to mention this one level is both a day and nighttime level in one? Yeah, so playing this for the first time is like a punch to the gut, but after it, the game is just kind of done, and it felt great, but I did still want to go back 100% to game one day. And 3 years later, I would do just that. Try to go for a full 100% completion of Sonic Unleashed. This time I was now on an Xbox Series X, which was a huge improvement compared to the basic 360. A lot of the laggy parts of the game got fully removed, especially with the werehog combat. This was all thanks to a frames per second boost that the Xbox Series X gave to some of the older gen Xbox 360 titles. But 100% in the game taught me so much, from the good routes to take on day stages, and a lot of the medals that you need to collect on the day stages are in the faster routes. Not all of them, there are a few exceptions where it's a little out of the way. Though a lot of the routes, I highly recommend watching an S rank run of each level. I learned so much from watching those, it was really helpful. But the ranking system in this game is also a big reason why I like this game. Compared to a lot of the other modern Sonic games where the rank is purely based off of what time you beat the level in this game you need to focus on collecting rings and keeping rings, which in some cases can mean no hitting a whole level just to try to get the most amount of score needed for the S rank. we also need to focus on killing enemies in some of the levels too. It's not all about going fast. Even in speedrunning, I think some of the levels you only get like a B rank in. I also learned a lot about the night stages from things I should have probably already knew about, like being able to hold the sprint button while pushing blocks to actually move faster. Somehow didn't figure that out. Only able to figure that out since throughout the 100% grind, you have to grab souvenirs and turn them into Professor Pickle. And it'll just give you little hints about the game, and that was one of them. But some of the tricks they definitely don't tell you about in this game that, you know, they're a little bit less than intended. Some cool examples of this is on Eggman Land, where you can use the momentum from a ledge grab to be able to skip a large portion of this one section. You can also do this move on Eggman Land and also bypass this entire section too. My PB for the stage is 14 minutes and 12 seconds. This is without using the crazy wall clip that there is in the game. Although, I do still like using this wall clip on Arid Sand, actually, since you can't clip through the gem door and, you know, not even have to worry about the glitch happening in the first place. It is also funny, in the same level, you can clip through this other door at the end of the stage, which leads you to a section of the level that was going to be used, but they later scrapped for the DLC. Still funny that there's the interaction with the door to lift it up if you go on the glitch side. And by doing the 100% full run, I kind of had one big realization. Why was this game hated? Why did I hate this game? Because the day and night levels are pretty much the same thing. One major complaint with the night levels is that, oh, they're too slow or compared to the day ones. And yeah, that's true on your first attempt when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know which routes to take, and you haven't learned the skips. I think it just comes down to what you can tolerate. For me, I enjoyed the slower pace and learning throughout the night stages. Like, there wasn't as much risk with trying to get through a certain section faster. Where I think everybody else's issue was at the time when this game came out was like, hey, we've played Sonic games before. We know what to look for in a day stage skips. But in nighttime, nobody knew anything. So they just wrote it off as being super slow and boring. But I think a lot of people realize this now, or see something in this game now, because, well, a lot has changed since this game has come out. There's been a lot of not so great games, and even Sega themselves thankfully have started referencing parts of this game that were previously hated. For so long, there was no mention of anything to do with the night stages. Sonic Generations only mentioned the day stages of Rooftop Run. There was no mention of this game at all in Forces, and finally now, with Frontiers and even spin-off games like Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, we're thankfully now finally getting the night recognition that this game deserves. I think I've made it clear now that I really like this game. And I'm really happy that this game has now been recognized by a lot of people as a good game. There is so much more I could talk about this game. Like, I haven't even mentioned that much of the story or the cutscenes or a lot of the optional side content that you can do in this game. And I could really go on and on about the different aspects of that, but I want to try something different. Instead of just telling you about this game, why don't I show you? And what I mean by that is, I want to try live streaming this game. I have no idea if it's going to work. I have no idea if my internet's going to be able to hold up, and I haven't honestly really tested it. But I am going to try it. So, next week, May 13th, I'm going to be live on Twitch. Again, I don't know if the stream is actually going to be able to run or what. It's probably going to be a lot of scuff because I haven't even done a test run at this point. But the plan is, new save file, just try to get through as much of the game as possible. Ideally, I would like to do a full live stream playthrough of 100% again, but I don't know, we'll see if we get that far. Regardless, I do plan on posting the VODs too, so, you know, in case you can't make it. But, yeah, that's it. If you got time, I'll see you next week, or maybe later in the week. I don't know, I'll post another video or something, a short. So you should subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see that. Okay, I'll shut up about that. Yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.